Who are the best players in FPL for the start of 25-26, the FPL season, game week 1? It's on Friday night, the deadline. Who are the best? I today break down my 4 top goalkeepers, my 4 top cheap defenders, my 4 top premium defenders, my 4 top cheap midfielders, my 4 top premium midfielders, and my 4 top forwards. And then I even do you one better. I create a draft using the players I'm going to talk about in this video. That's 24 players and 15 players picked in a squad at the end. Let me know in the comments what you think of this draft. And you know what you need to do now. Smash a like on the video. Help me get it out there a bit more. We're on our way to 3K subs. So if you haven't already joined the club, please smash that subscribe button now as well. And without that being said, let's get into it. The fixture difficulty rating is exactly where we're starting today, though, and this is important because when you're building your drafts for the first 6 game weeks, you can't be looking that far ahead. There's so many chips to be playing this season that you can't sit there and go, oh, I'm actually going to save that because I'm going to do that in game week 20. It's not possible. You need to actually think about what you're going to do the first 6 weeks and focus just purely on that. And that is why this screen right there is so important. It's literally so important. I can't get over it. So the teams, I think, and it's that you need to be covering: Aston Villa, Chelsea, really good fixtures there. Nottingham Forest, amazing. They've been very good defensively in the preseason as well. Man City, Brentford. I mean, Everton is there, but I don't really rate them. And West Ham. Those are the teams that scream off the page to me that the fixtures you need to target and the players that you need. The first 3 weeks for Liverpool aren't overly good. And look, honestly, the players I've looked at, free hit 4 is looking really damn good, especially with the draft I've created at the end of this video with the players that I like. These are my top 24 players I'm about to talk about. I can almost guarantee you it's going to be a combination of these players in my draft. Now, a couple of players that aren't in there. Mo Salah, not in there. Don't rate him. Don't think he's any good this year. He's massively overpriced. I've been saying that all preseason. I'm not going to be changing my mind between now and the deadline. Robert Sanchez, I think a lot of people are saying he's the best goalkeeper. I don't think he's a good option. I have a sneaky suspicion Donnarumma is going to end up at Chelsea. And we might not know that prior to game week 1. And for that reason, I don't want to be wasting a transfer on a goalkeeper like that. There's also other players as well that you'll see why I've omitted them. There's a reason why I've omitted them. It's because of the fact I don't think they're completely nailed. I don't know if the minutes are secure. And for that reason, they are not included in these top 24 players. With that being said, though, it's now time to look at the top 4 goalkeepers that I think are available for game week 1. So, coming in at number 1 is Matt Sells. Now, I just showed you, and you can see it there, the fixture difficulty rating for Nottingham Forest the first 6 weeks is unbelievably good. This is also why I like a free hit 4 strategy now, because you dodge the Arsenal game and you can load up on other assets, and there are a lot of good teams with nice fixtures that week. For example, Crystal Palace play Sunderland in game week 4. Liverpool play Burnley. Man City play Man United. There are a lot of nice fixtures to target, and you can get out of your Forest assets for the week where you really don't want to be having them. I just think that he's the most valued goalkeeper out there. At 5 mil, he's better than Sanchez, especially with the early fixtures. And through to like game week 12 when I'm looking at wildcarding, I don't think there's a better keeper in the game. Jordan Pickford probably comes in at a close 2, though. Now, he again, has a nice start. But we normally know historically that Everton starts slowly in the league. They did last year anyway. And their preseason form hasn't been overly good. David Moyes has even admitted that they're not quite ready. But will it just turn on its head when it comes to game week 1? I'm not 100% sure. But David Moyes is a good manager and Jordan Pickford's a good keeper. And Everton normally have a really stingy defence. So for that reason, he comes in at number 2. Because of the fact that he's got better fixtures than David Raya, I wouldn't be going anywhere near him. I know a lot of people say, well, how about him at 5.5 mil? Nah, not for me. Then I've just gone off the 4.5 million goalkeepers. The fact that Kelleher missed on the weekend and potentially might not be available for game week 1. I mean, realistically, how fit do goalkeepers need in order to be able to play? I'm not sure, but it is concerning that he has not made it. So for that reason, I've taken out all the 4.5s. I mean, I can understand the 4.5 rotation. I just think of Matt Sells and Dubravka is a really good mix. And I think Dubravka will be fine. But Henderson comes in at number 3. He actually kept 11 clean sheets last year. Crystal Palace's defense is actually pretty good. They've got good defenders, and they defend, generally speaking, pretty well. The exact same goals conceded per 90 expected as Matt Sells and Nottingham Forest, and we all thought that they were much better than Crystal Palace's defense last year. There's not much between them. I quite like Jordan Henderson. I think the one thing to say is that Matt Sells and Jordan Pickford average more saves per game, but I think that's because of the way that Nottingham Forest and Everton play. Then we got Dubravka. Look, you can't really read too much into his stats other than the fact that if you go with one of the 5 million goalkeepers, you're definitely going with a 4 million, and he's going to be playing, which is why he comes in at number 4. Not because you're going to be playing him any given week, but because of the fact he enables the rest of your drafts. So on to the cheap defenders, and these are my top 4. Now, everyone rates about which ones are your top 4, 4.5s. These are him. I do not care about DC points if I'm picking a 4.5 million defender. I want the attacking upside. For the premium defenders, yeah, 100%, I'm looking at the DC contributions. But if I'm looking for 4.5s that are rotating, I'm not picking them because I think they're going to get me 2 extra points in the week I'm playing them. I'm picking them because they're likely to get me an assist, keep a clean sheet, or score me a goal. Otherwise, I wouldn't be picking them in the first place. So for that reason, I picked 4 attacking left back, right back, wing backs, whatever you want to call them. In fact, ironically, they all play on the left. I just realised this now. Which basically means they're all like me, left-footers, and left-footers are more gun-ho than the right-footers, let's be honest. Just because I am. So, the Kuiper, he's new to the league, and 3 of these 4 are actually new to the league, and Dorgo only came in January. So, we haven't seen their untapped potential. Based on the numbers from their previous leagues, there's reason for optimism that they can hit the ground running and actually get you a boatload of points, which is what we're all here for at the end of the day. And hopefully that's going to include goals, assists, and touchwood, a few clean sheets as well. So De Kuiper, 0.11 expected goals per 90, 0.29 expected assists per 90 at his previous club. If he gets anywhere near that at Brighton, he's going to be a great asset. We've seen him score on the weekend as well. Juve, ditto. His numbers are even better. 0.3 expected goals per 90, 0.21 expected assists per 90. If he can do anything like that, and he has been taking up advanced positions in West Ham during the preseason, he's going to be great. Then we got Dorgu. Now, Dorgu and Man United, I think that he is a lock. Now, some people will sit there, is he? If you can dodge the Man United rough fixtures, which are Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea, and then Liverpool and 8, he's great. 0.05 expected goals per 90, 0.14 expected assists. With all those assets in front of Dorgu, there's a lot more chances for him to be creating assists for others in there, so I quite like him. And then we've got Truffett. Again, really good stats here. 0.1 expected goals per 90, 0.18 expected assists per 90. There's so much upside here, and bar the game week 1 fixture, Truffett could be an amazing asset that I sit there and I think maybe, just maybe, I can get him into my own team by the deadline. So on to the premium defenders, and look, these guys are phenomenal. And look, you'll notice that there is no Liverpool defence here. There's no Man City defence, and there's no Arsenal defence. These are the best 4, I think, in the game. As we speak, 4 points for the first 6 game weeks. And I'll explain why. Milinkovic, absolute beast. Absolute beast last year. I think that he potentially could be the highest scoring defender in the game this year. I'm still surprised he's only owned by 9.6% of the game, especially with those fixtures early doors. What is there not to like about this man? He literally starts every single game. He kept 13 clean sheets last year. He's got 0.11 expected goals per 90. He's a DC monster, superhero, ready to go, 8.37 per 90. So he's going to be about half his games. He's probably going to get the DC contributions as well, especially if Forest defend the same way they did last year, which is what we should be expecting based on their preseason form. And he keeps clean sheets. And he gets goals. What is there not to love? He has to be a clear number 1 for premium defenders. Daniel Munoz comes in at number 2. He plays more as a right winger than a defender. Again, his defensive contributions aren't too bad. 7.44 expected per 90. But he's just an attacking weapon. 4 goals, 6 assists last year. That's 10 attacking contributions. 5.5. I think they've underpriced him, being brutally honest. I think he can even return in the games against Chelsea, Aston Villa, and Liverpool in the first 6. I really do honestly believe you could play him those weeks and expect returns. Then we got Collins, and this guy is criminally underrated, 1.8%. No one owned him last year as well. I didn't own him last year, but this year, I think I'm going to be starting with him. I'll give you the hot tip. I think I'm going to be starting with him. 38 starts, 2 goals, 7 assists. That's 9 attacking contributions for a bloke that cost you 5 mil, and his defensive contributions per 90 is 9.24 on average. Like, there are so many avenues to points for Collins. I don't see why you wouldn't go with him. He's by far the best defender at 5 million. By a country league. He could sit there and open the paddock and there'd be daylight between him and probably Robinson, who comes in probably second. Williams might have his minutes might be under threat with the signings potentially that Forest might be making, so he doesn't make the list because of that. And then it's my boy, Dudu Raya, Kuka Raya, whatever you want to call him, my boy, 15-point boy. There he is. He's ready to go. I mean, he got 7 attacking contributions last year as well. And the fixtures for Chelsea are brilliant, and I think he is more of a lock in that defence than anyone else in the Chelsea team. Even more than Sanchez, I think Kuka Raya is the man. He's got the hair, he's got the looks, he drinks the Estrella, and he eats the paella. What more do you want in life than a Kuku Raya chant and a place in your fantasy teams? So on to the cheap midfielders, and look, I've had to rearrange this order. I obviously put a video out a couple of days ago about the best players owned under 10%. And these guys are all up there, man. Like, they are all fantastic options. They're all cheap. And look, I don't rate any of the 5 million midfielders. I don't rate any of the 4.5 million midfielders. And I included up to 7.5 as a cheap midfielder because of the fact that Salah costs 14.5. Anything over 7.5, I counted as expensive. I just think these are the best. I don't know why you'd spend up for a 7 or a 7.5 when you can get this lot for 6.5 and below. Salah comes in at number 1. We saw his ceiling against Liverpool, a goal and an assist. His stats are so good as well, like 0.59 expected goal involvement per game is unbelievably good. This man shows up against the good teams as well. Against Chelsea, I wouldn't be surprised if he got a return there as well. So look, I think that he will be the top scoring midfielder under 7.5 by the end of the season. Pushing him really close, though, I think will be Reindeers pulling the sleigh. And look, the sleigh is getting heavier by the moment. It's up to 10.1% ownership now, which is probably a sign that I'm onto something. And I said this a little while ago. He showed up in my differentials video about a week and a half ago. Before anyone was talking about him, I'd already put the alert out. The fact he had 10 goals, 4 assists. By the way, Man City rang him up, and apparently they told his dad they wanted an 8, not a 6. So he's definitely going to be attacking. We saw that in the 45 minutes he was on the field in the preseason on the weekend. He could be anything. Like, obviously, as I said there, his stats last season, 0.57 expected goal involvement per 90 as well, is pretty damn good. I expect goals. I expect assists from Reindeers. And at 5.5 mil, who cares if he gets pep rouletted every once in a while? Because we all know it's happening. But if he's your 8th attacker, who cares? He's 5.5 mil. Why would you sit there and chase an Anderson with a boring, steady 4 points when Reindeers could get you 2 goals in 45 minutes and get you 15 points? It's a no-brainer for me. He's definitely the pick there. Then we got Ahmad. This guy is being seriously slept on. 3.5% of the comp own him. And look, if I wasn't paying up so much money in my own midfield, he'd be in by a country mile. If I got Haaland into my team, Ahmad would be in my team instead of Bruno. I'll give you a hot tip. That's probably where I'm going there. His stats last year, his actual defensive contributions is actually quite high for the position he plays as well, 8.35. It might increase as well with the way that Amrin's trying to implement his thing. But remember from last year, 20 starts, 16 attacking contributions. I think he's being massively slept on. He's looked so good during preseason. When he gets the ball, something happens for Manchester United. He comes in at number 3. And then Damsgaard comes in at number 4. 6 million. Again, I think he's going to be the talisman for Brentford this season. He's going to pick up the slack left over by Mbumo leaving and potentially Wissa leaving as well. And Norgard. Look, 0.31 expected assists per 90. Like, the dude is so creative. He's going to be on all set pieces. He's going to be on all corners. Since the others have left, there's no reason why he can't increase his output significantly this season. He had 10 assists last year. I could expect to see the similar amount again. He might even add more goals to his game as well. For that reason, with the fixtures early doors to Brentford, he's a solid pick to put into your teams as well. And then I went to the premium midfielders, and look, Bruno Fernandes, I have at number 1. Why? The dude plays 90 minutes every week. He will not be rested for Europe. He literally averages between 8 and 10 goals every single season. So we can almost guarantee he's going to get that again. With more people in front of him better, winning more penalties, I dare say they'll get a lot more penalties this year. He gets the clean sheet points. He's amazing for bonuses. He's putting the tackles in. He's now got 10.71 DC per 90. Like, the dude plays 90 minutes. He's going to hit that a lot of times. He hit it in the preseason game on the weekend against Fiorentina, and it didn't even look like he was trying, to be honest with you, but he still got around the field, put the tackles in. He literally will blank and get you 4 points, because that's just how good he's going to be this year. I wouldn't be surprised. I've actually got him now as the top scoring player in the game this year. I think Man United are going to surprise a lot of people. Yes, that might be my bias coming in, but this dude is a lock at number 1. Number 2, it's Cole Palmer. The ceiling on this man is incredible. The only concern I've really got is Maresca doing Maresca roulette when the Champions League kicks in, which is quite possible. But when you look at his underlying stats, 0.74 expected goal involvement per 90 across the whole of last season. He's not getting you any DC points, so his floor is significantly lower than Bruno's, but his ceiling is just as high, if not higher than Bruno's. And we've seen it numerous times. He scores hat-tricks. He scores 4 goals and a half if he feels like it. We just hope that Maresca plays him in the right spot and it doesn't get rotated against some of the teams coming off the Champions League games. But he comes in an easy number 2. And number 3, it's actually Saka. And you're like going, mate, you've lost the plot. Where the hell is Salah? Well, I'm going to get to that. I've already explained it a little bit in my other videos. But Saka comes in at number 3. Now, people sit there and say that he's overpriced. He's not going to be as good without penalties. Look at his stats from last year, and that was without Gyökeres in the team. 6 goals, 11 assists. He has higher expected goal involvement per 90 than one Cole Palmer. Why on earth would you sit there and think he's not going to be better with Gyökeres in the team instead of Havertz? You would expect Gyökeres to score more goals than Havertz, which means that guess who is going to end up with more assists? One Saka. I don't understand. The only reasoning I could give that Saka is not a good option is he's a little bit injury prone. But other than that, I don't understand. I don't understand why he's not in more teams. He's in the exact same amount as Bruno's. I can't see a world where you don't want Saka, like at some point this season. I think he's going to be great. He looked electric on the weekend. I don't know. I think he's being slept on significantly. And then Wirtz, he gave his audition in the Community Shield. The first time I've actually seen the man play, and literally every bit of play for Liverpool was going through this man. So it's a bit of a no-brainer. Originally, prior to that game, I actually had Gakpo in, who I'd moved in to free up an extra $1 million from Wirtz. I've now moved Wirtz back in, and Gakpo's now left my team. Like, the stats don't lie. 0.89 expected goal involvement in the Bundesliga last season per 90. Like, that's impossible to ignore. Impossible to ignore, especially at his price. He's £6 million less than Salah. And I think he's going to outscore Salah this season. That's why I think all these 4 outscore Salah this year, especially Salah going away to AFCON. You can't make a valid argument where these 4 don't outscore him this season. That's my honest opinion, which is why he doesn't feature in the premium midfielders list. And on to the forwards. And this is going to cause some controversy, right? So I've got Ollie Watkins at a clear number 1. He's outscored Haaland in the last 2 seasons, and he deserves to be there. Now, there are still some rumours that maybe he might not be there by the time the deadline passes for Aston Villa, but he's going to be starting this weekend. In reality, the first 6 weeks for Aston Villa, in fact, the first 10 are incredible. I don't see any reason not to go with him. Again, 20.2% ownership now. The dude just consistently returns. 24 attacking returns last year, 16 goals, 8 assists. He's got good underlying numbers. I just think he's great. I think he's a great pick. Coming in at number 2, and this one is probably going to be a bit controversial, is Jared Bowen. Now, the reason why I say it's controversial is because a lot of people probably wouldn't have him as high in their squads or in their drafts. But 19.2% ownership suggests that 1 in 5 people, like me, are quite clever. 24 attacking returns last year. If you have a look at the history of Jared Bowen, he generally outputs the exact same every single year. He's the captain of West Ham. He's the talisman. He could potentially be on penalties, but that's neither here nor there. If West Ham score a goal, there's almost over a 50% chance that Jared Bowen is involved. I don't know. There's not many people in the league that you can say that about. If their team scores, you 50% of the chance think that that's them going to be involved. But that is Jared Bowen. That is why he's so good. He's also got the highest DC per 90, if anyone cares about that stupid stat, out of any forward in the game. So read into that what you want. I just think he's going to be great. He's almost always ever present for West Ham, and he's almost always consistent. I think he's a no-brainer. I'm surprised he's not in more teams. Then there's Valentin or even Ilson. He's been criminally overlooked, and maybe it's the game week 1 fixture with Liverpool and the fact that they've lost defenders, but that shouldn't impact his numbers and his ability to impact the scoreboard this season. 10 goals, 5 assists from 28 starts last year. He's going to be better in his second season in the Premier League. I have no doubt about that at all. And I think if that game week 1 fixture wasn't there, even Ilson would be over 10% owned comfortably. He is at a bit of a weird price point, and I'm actually trying to hopefully get him into my own squad. I'm just not sure how, because at the moment Strand Larsen is there instead, and he would have come in at number 5, but I had to include the cyborg, and that is one Erling Haaland. He is a robot. When he's up and about, he can absolutely smash teams to pieces. There's no reason to think that he can't go to Wolves on the weekend and opening game week and smash a hat-trick. There's absolutely no reason not to believe it. If there's one premium that I don't have currently in my own draft, and we'll find that out over the next 2 days when I do my team selection video, he's the one I'm worried about the most. I'm not worried about Salah. I think Salah's going to be sold en masse over the first 10 weeks, if I'm being honest. Haaland, though, is a different scenario. I feel like if Man City click and all these other players around him click, Haaland could be in for an absolutely smashing year, and I think Man City could be as well. So, yeah, don't sleep on him. He comes in at number 4, and he does beat out Strand Larsen. So how do I put all these players together? Well, this is the draft I have made from all those players. Now, I do realise when I did it, to make it work, I had to put in Strand Larsen, who didn't appear in the video so far, but he appears here because I was 0.5 million short of putting Even Ilson in instead of Strand Larsen. But you tell me if there is a better squad on paper that you've seen. Now, for anyone that is worried about, the team, the only week in the first 6 weeks where this team is a bit dicey is game week 4, which is why I said the free hit 4 will be really good. You remove the Forest assets from playing that Arsenal game. There's a few other dud fixtures in there as well that don't overly work for this team. But other than that, you've got an amazing bench. You can rotate those players in and out as you please for those 4.5s. You can play Milinkovic and Collins and expect them to get the DC points every single week. Then if they get a clean sheet or any sort of attacking return, they're going to be on monster scores every week. Their midfield is absolutely stacked. It doesn't need Salah. And then your forward line, you're not sitting there playing old mate Mark Guehi in the forward line. You've actually got someone that you can be like, he actually might score today. He might get 90 minutes. And that's what this team is about. Maximum amounts of minutes, almost no risk in terms of rotation. This is what I love about this draft. The only one you could say is probably a little bit dicey moving into game week 1 is Reindeers. He is obviously always, any Man City player is obviously at risk of Pep Roulette, and Dorgu, who potentially could be at risk of losing minutes to Dalot, but in reality he's going to be starting almost every single week because Dalot is rubbish on the left. So I think he's a shoo-in. So yeah, let me know what you think of all those players and how I've managed to cohorn them into this team. This team looks so good on paper for game week 1. I'm not even going to lie. It might actually even become my draft prior to the deadline. Who knows? So yeah, let me know what you think. Before you go, please leave me a comment with how you're shaping up for the season. Let me know if free hit 4 is something you've also considered, so that way you can load up on the Nottingham Forest defence. Or am I missing the boat there? Also, have you ditched Salah? Or have you finally come on board the no Salah bandwagon? Are you also going without Haaland? I am really intrigued to know what other people are doing. I've been anti them pretty much since I put out my very first initial draft. I just think, having seen what Haaland did last year and how much waste goes to bed when you spend that much money, I think it makes sense just to take them on. But yeah, let me know. I'll be back tomorrow with probably my team selection. either that or Thursday, and then I'll have my final late mail edition of everything you need to cover and consider prior to the deadline stream on Friday. And we are back bigger than ever. And then on Saturday, we've got the live watch along for the 3 p.m. kickoffs. We are bringing it back. I'm going to be getting guests on pretty much every single week, so keep your eye out for that. And before you go, again, if you haven't smashed that subscribe button, please consider doing so. I've been FPL D-Unit, and I'll see you tomorrow.